You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
The Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles. Here's Eddie Garcia.
At the Olympics, U.S. men's basketball team won its semifinal game, but had to rally to pull out a 95-91 win over Serbia. They outscored Serbia 32-15 in the fourth quarter to get the victory. Steph Curry led the way with 36 points. LeBron James had a triple-double, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Up next for the U.S. will be France in the gold medal game on Saturday. In baseball, the Mariners beat the Tigers 4-3. Seattle moves back into a tie with idle Houston for the top spot in the AL West. Yankees lose to the Angels 9-4, while the Orioles fall to the Blue Jays 7-6. So New York and Baltimore are still tied for the AL East lead. Brewers slug their way past the Braves 16-7. Milwaukee, the NL Central leaders, get the 3-game series sweep. Atlanta's dropped 5 in a row and has fallen out of the final wildcard spot in the National League because the Mets beat the Rockies 9-1 to move a half game up on Atlanta for that last wildcard spot in the NL. Padres wrap up a 3-game sweep with the Pirates with a 7-6 victory.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to center and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome into the Martin Houston Show. It's a free-for-all Friday powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. Go check them out. TJ and his team and staff are waiting to take care of you for all of your medicine needs. That's the pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacymidtown.com. And it is the Martin Houston Show powered by Box Eye Care. Dr. Dane Box and his team are waiting for an opportunity to take care of you. You can call them at 205-342-0660 or jump over to boxeyecare.com and find out all the great things that they have happening there at their new location with great new lenses and all that comes with with the same great service, same great team, and more at their new location at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. And it's the Martin Houston Show powered by Box Eye Care on this free-for-all Friday powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. So got a great show lined up for you. Want to encourage you to get in on the conversation this morning. You can get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama. That's the hotline. Still looking for a sponsor. So if you know someone looking for a sponsor for the hotline, tell them get great exposure because of the great listeners, followers, and callers we have here on the show. 205-342-9904. That's the hotline there. And we want to invite you to get in on the conversation. And if you tuned in on the live stream, comment, react, ask your questions, etc. in the live stream. We'd love to have your content brought into the conversation, and you can do it those two ways. So looking forward to chatting with you on this beautiful free-for-all Friday powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. All right, X, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Before we get into the program, I want to remind you that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice, be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. And I also add, as now Tuscaloosa and County High, and I think all the private schools are all back in school on this Friday. We pray for the students. We pray for their protection. We pray for their growth and knowledge and understanding. And Father God, that you would guard their hearts and their minds and keep them on the straight and narrow, help them all to have a great school year. We pray for the administrators, the teachers, and all of the staff that will be working with their students, including the moms and dads who take on the task of homeschooling as well. So as we move forward this morning, X, we are on the eve of the first scrimmage of Alabama football under Coach Kalen DeBoer. So interesting times. We usually have a lot of different things we talk about with this first scrimmage coming up. A couple of thoughts that were on my mind. I'd like to know what's on yours. But a couple of thoughts on my mind was who's going to be that breakout player for Alabama in 2024? And will that person pop tomorrow? Will that person jump out at us tomorrow? And then also, which position group will have the best day tomorrow? Not who's the best position group as far as most talented, or which position group is going to, be the best one by the end of the year, but who do you think is going to have the best scrimmage on tomorrow? Which position group is going to come out of the gates firing on all cylinders on the first scrimmage on tomorrow? We can also look deeper into the scrimmage and even talk about who's gonna be the first guy. X and Chase, y'all familiar when they say prop bets out in Vegas? We can have a few prop bets where we ask the question, who's going to score the first touchdown tomorrow? Who's going to be the first name mentioned without a question? What's going to be the first name a coach mentions tomorrow after the scrimmage? Of course, I think we know who's going to have the most passing yards. At least we have a better idea than we did last year. But which running back has the most rushing yards? Who gets the first sack? We can talk about all of those different things on this Free-for-All Friday. And being into the Free-for-All Friday, I've not talked much about it, but I have to get a shout out. Man, I think I've fallen in love with the Olympics again, X. I have watched the Olympics more this year than I have in a while, and I have found myself getting hyped especially in the running races. But I even caught myself. You ready for this, X? I'm telling them. Oh my goodness! I even got all caught up in the. It used to be called synchronized swimming. I think they call it artistic something now, but I even got into that yesterday. So I guess I'm just starved for true sports. But man, it is something special. I am always amazed at how these guys and gals respond to representing their country. Like Scheffler, who's clearly the best golfer in the world. Right now, top golfer in the world, how he broke down and cried on the stage. And then you see these guys run, and I forget the Levron is her last name. Did you see her in the hurdles last night, the 400 hurdles? She ran the 400 hurdle X in 50.37. She's almost running the hurdle as fast as the other athletes are running the flat 400. And she is listen to this. She has broke the world record 6 times since 2021, her own world record. They think that she may eventually be able to get to 50 flat. She is 0.6 faster than anybody that's ever ran it.
That's speed.
Sydney McLaughlin.
Yeah, Levron.
Is that who you're talking about? Levron.
Levron, I think it's Levron is how they were saying it last night. But yeah, but just let that sink in. Somebody said, we talk about all these other athletes being GOATs, Michael and LeBron and all that. Well, there is no one in the category with her. None. Point. Do you understand how many yards that is? Do you understand how far ahead the next fastest person to run, if they ran the prior world record, she would beat them by like half a football field. No, I mean, it's not that far, but it is not even close. So anyway, I've really enjoyed it. And the men's basketball team, LeBron and company, even though he's the elder statesman, still seems to be the leader of that crew, advanced to play France. So I like this, X, because it gives us a chance to look at Wamba and LeBron, the past versus the future, and see which team takes their team to goal as he beat Joker and Serbia yesterday. So anyway, I like I said, it's just, I know it's a free-for-all Friday and it's our country and we're leading in the gold medals. I even gotten into that, X. We're only up by one gold medal over China, 30-29, I think it was last night when I went to bed. So we need to close out these relay races and all of that stuff to make sure we beat China, because I do not want to lose to China in anything, okay? Unless it's that we import less than we export to them. So anyway, you got anything on that before we bring Pat in?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, the Olympics, it's a unifier, and, there's been things that have taken place that it seems to be trying to tear us apart that have happened at the games and things of that nature. At the end of the day, to be an American and to celebrate an accomplishment as a nation, it's always exciting.
Yeah, like I said, I have been blown away at how these guys and gals who are the absolute greatest, best at their sport, when they have a professional sport, how they respond when they win gold in their sport against the rest of the world versus their league. So kudos, go USA. Make sure you take care of all the goals, and hopefully on Monday, we're in the medal count ahead of China by like 30 something. We're over 100 and something medals, I think 80 or something like that. But I want us to win the gold, the most first place as well. We'll talk about those on tomorrow. On Monday when we get back. Once again, as we're getting ready to go to break here, want to remind you that we're able to do this each and every day because of the great folks over at Box Eye Care. As Box Eye Care, exciting news. They've moved to their new location, and with that, they bring you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great service levels you come to know and love, trust, and expect. Discover full service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location with their new in-house lab, offering unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out, in most cases, with new glasses in less than an hour. Visit boxeyecare.com or call them 205-342-0660. You can find their new location at 5000 Oscar Baxter Drive, down off of 69 South. Box Eye Care, your vision, their priority.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, hello and TGIF to you. We're moving right along on these roadways, but I do see a little something here on Culver Road. Slow up on both sides at 44th Avenue. It concerns me there, so.
Recruiter, get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky partly to mostly sunny today. Tuscaloosa's high 92. Mostly clear tonight, the low 71. Weather for the weekend, not as humid. A good supply of sunshine tomorrow and Sunday. The high both days very close to 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show. The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. It's a free-for-all Friday, powered by, powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. Go check out TJ and his staff. They're ready to serve you at Midtown. All right. Also, don't forget to go check out the Legacy Gear. I'll give you more information on that in just a moment. X, man, we had some good conversation around what's happening over in the Olympics, and we have a call for that. And so I'm going to get that call, then we'll get to Pat, and then we'll get back to this scrimmage on Saturday. And anything else you may have that you want to bring to the table, the phone lines are open. And that phone line is open at 205-342-9904, or you can add your thoughts and comments in the chat. Alan, you're in with Martin and X. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. Martin, step back, please. Swimming, synchronized swimming is not a sport. Let's just let's just step back. Let's just not get carried away now. Let's just leave that alone.
Hey, Alan, some of the stuff that I saw that's Olympic sports, did you see the wall climbing?
Martin, I did not, but I know that is a sport. I know synchronized swimming because I was in the Navy, and I can't do what they can do. And I got a good friend of mine that's a cheerleader, and we stay into it on Facebook about cheerleading. They hand it to me every time when I get on about that. So those are sports. I just want to give it to them.
Yeah, hey, I was going to say, Alan, I'm going to have to say cheerleading is a sport because I'm going to be working with some of the cheerleaders to brand my Legacy Gear. So cheerleading is a sport. Hey, Alan, I told you about when Xavier was, God, I'm going way back in the archives. When Xavier was in the 7th grade, I started a independent little league football team.
Yeah.
You know what I found out, Alan? You know why football exists? You know why football exists? Because the cheerleaders needed something to do in the fall.
That's what I tell them. See, I got in trouble for saying stuff like that. I get beat up for saying stuff like that.
Yeah. I found out real quick. I always thought the cheerleaders were there to support the football program. I found out real quick that cheerleaders needed something to do in the fall, so they helped us invent football.
and they will let you know.
Yes,
what
sir.
I am so proud of watching. The 3 old guys came out there and showed out in basketball yesterday. And the third was talking all kind of mad noise, and to LeBron and Steph and Durant and B said, "Enough is enough. Enough is enough."
They were down by 17.
18. 17, 18, yeah. And 12 points going into the fourth quarter, and they said, okay, enough is enough. But that would have been a bad upset. And my last thing I want to talk about, remember I sent you that thing? Did the football coach actually punch that? Yeah, did he actually punch him? Somebody was telling me a video that he actually, if he punched the player, now he got to go. But if he just jerked him around,
he did.
Today's time is different than that me and you grew up at, because we used to get jerked around, pushed around, and everything else.
Well, from what the video that I've seen, if people don't know what we're talking about on this Free for All Friday, powered by the Pharmacy at Midtown, is that Hoover's new head coach, who was Mbakwe's coach last year, actually Gilmer from Clay Chalkful, was at Hoover. They were doing some type of drill. The defensive coach didn't like the way it happened, jerked the kid's helmet off, and then Gilmer actually looked like he humps the guy's head with his privates. That's what it looks like.
Never got a problem.
And so I still don't. I mean, in my opinion, I think there should be suspension and all of that. But I don't know that he should lose his job. What he did was inappropriate and wrong. But everybody thinks that the solution to every situation is just to fire the guy. Now this team, think about all the other kids, Alan, and X, I'll let you respond too. Think about all the other kids that have been invested in this program, right?
It's true.
Scholarships and everything. Well, and the guy who they lost their. Like I said, I have no problem with suspension, and it could be a severe suspension. I have, but and they didn't end up firing. He ended up resigning along with the defensive coach. They let him resign. But they resigned. But the problem is now they have a guy who's like the head coach is a guy who was the quarterback coach last year. I think he may have been offense coordinator this year. He's 18 and like 40 or some crazy number. Yeah, and so now all of the kids who have vested and been bought in and all of that, you think about the whole as a whole. And you need to make things right with that young man. Absolutely, I don't blame. I'm not upset with the parents. I'm not saying anything has been done wrong. I may just would have, if he has a history of this, if the coach has a history of this, then he's out. But if there's not anything in his past that speaks to, and I don't know any of this, Alan. I don't know any of this. So it could be that the people from Clay Chalkville have issues and they've complained and the other program never did anything, right?
Right.
And so, or there may have been warnings from Hoover. There's so much more. But if this is an offshoot, if this is a one-off, then you suspend severely, you make a point, and you put them on a short leash and say anything inappropriate, you're out of here.
Right.
No questions asked. That would be my.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
My problem would be is if he does have a history of that, whoever went and hired him, superintendent or whatever, didn't do their due diligence.
Due diligence,
and
right?
Dig deep.
They just wanted to win.
Dig deep and find out they just wanted to win. So you can't blame a dog for biting you if you know he'll bite. You know, if he did it before, and you all of a sudden you're gonna say, "Hey, he's not gonna do it again." A dog, a snake's gonna be a snake, no matter what a snake is.
Don't blame him. Yeah, like you just said, when I sell insurance, one of the questions we'd ask is, do you have a dog? Yes.
Right.
What breed is he? Okay. Now that do you have a dog is just a qualifier. What right. do you have a breed? And if you say a certain breed, your insurance go up. Then the next question is, has he ever bit anybody? Yes, your insurance go up. Or they go, you know what? You got that breed who is known to bite people, and he's already bitten. How many people have he bit? Oh, one, out. Some people you might get 2 bites, but to your point, if this guy had that reputation, then I have zero issue with what's going on. If he doesn't and it's a one-off, then, like I said, I may have taken a different approach. Now, if it's my kid, I fully understand the parents, so I'm not knocking the parents. I just would have to look at the one kid versus the 120 kids that have been vested behind this coach, if he's been treating all of them correctly, and this was a one-off. I know this, so that's just my thought. So,
well, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it looked bad from the video clips that I saw of it, and
it's bad. It's bad.
I mean, that's really the only way you can break it down. It looked bad, and I agree. If this is a one-off, suspend them, all that, because football is a team sport and everything. Now, if this is a thing that the parents, the players agree to it, then they did the right thing.
And I'll close with this, Alan. If this was probably anywhere else, it might be, it might have been a suspension, but with the history of what Probst did and the rumors of whether or not the school board and all that knew about it and chose to let it go, I think that they probably didn't want to take a chance too. So,
well, I'm gonna say this last thing, Martin. Now, when me and you played, our coaches used to be. Could you imagine if they? Yeah. Could you at high school and in grade school? Could you imagine if they had video back then? Or what would happen to our coaches?
Well, wouldn't be anybody in coaching.
Wouldn't be nobody in coaching.
I mean,
we got pushed, and I ain't gonna say punched, but Coach Tucker. I think you may have played with Lance. No, Lance came out to you. Lance Tucker did.
I know him though. I know him. Very familiar with him.
His father. Was, whoa, Coach Tucker was something serious. I thought my name was Chicken. He called me that. I had to go look at my birth certificate to make sure my mother didn't name me that. So that's how much he called us that.
Thought maybe you got a name change, right? Thanks, Alan. That's hilarious.
and that, so the coaches now, they've come down since the age of technology. I'll put it like that. They had no choice.
They that's what I was going to say. They have no choice. But thanks, Alan. Appreciate it, man. All right. Pat, hold on. I didn't expect that to take that entire segment, but it's a free-for-all Friday. So, but it's serious. Extremely serious, so I'm not belittling anything. And I think my former boss used to always go perspective and context, and that's what you have to look at. And I don't have all the perspective, and I don't have all the context, and so my recommendation on suspension is based on it being a one-off by both and head coach and defensive coordinator, and that they treat these kids with respect the other times. If this is a pattern, have no problem with him resigning and would have had no problem with them firing him. And I won't have a problem with him firing him either way, but I'm just saying that I may would have taken a different approach for the sake of the whole versus the individual only. I pray for the young man that was impacted by this. I hope his name is quickly forgotten, so that he can rebound and go back. But the sad part, X, is supposedly that the police are involved because either a teammate or someone associated with the program has threatened a young man as a result of this happening. So that was the last thing I heard on it. And that's where it gets bad and messy. But we'll be back on the other side to flip the conversation back over to Alabama football scrimmage, practice, and what we got there as we go to break. Don't forget to go check out North River Timber Company. If you have timberland in West Alabama, Courtney White and his team, a registered forester since 2011. They've been dealing with forestry land in 4 West Alabama counties, and that number continues to grow. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. So call them today, North River Timber Company, and unlock the true potential of your land. Email them at northrivertimberco.
For information, contact us at 205 333-0231 or visit behwater.biz.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Play a little something for our upcoming caller and guest. This is for you, Pat. So before I bring you in, give Pat a little shout out right here. I bet you appreciate this, Pat.
My logo is big. You know, I've coached a lot of places and been received differently at different places. When you walk into a school and you're at Alabama, Alabama's still a logo and a brand that everyone knows and loves. So obviously I think everyone was excited to take on this opportunity to be a coach at Alabama, which allows you to walk into any school and feel differently than you've ever felt before. And I've been a part of that. So I think we got a great brand to sell. Tuscaloosa is a great place. Kids want to go a place where they can have a chance to win a championship. And nothing's better than having the proof to show that you can win one here. And we got the resources that are going to take care of you for even life after football.
That's Coach Robert Gillespie responding to what it's like to recruit for the University of Alabama and him talking about that brand X, that script A. And, of course, the varsity is slowly making its way back into the circle. But definitely good words there. I figured Pat would appreciate that before we brought him in. Good morning, Pat. You're in with Martin and Xavier on this Free for All Friday, powered by the Pharmacy at Midtown.
Good morning, guys. That was very nice morning. But people in Hoover don't realize what they had till it's gone. My buddy, Coach Prost, that he was a choir boy compared to that choir boy. You hear me? That went to Georgia, won 3 state championships after he left Hoover. Showed that he was a great high school coach. And,
but I'm not gonna give you any love on Rush Probe. So you.
I'm sorry. Hoover won several after he left. So
they have 13. They have 13, I think, Pat, and Probst only won at 5. So that's sort of like saying that that Coach Bryant or Coach Saban is the only reason Alabama is great, Pat.
Well, hey, like I said, that script A does mean a lot.
It does. It really does.
Hey, but guys, hey, Martin, I hope that you have some heavyweight hoodies in that collection of yours this weekend. We're going to need them. Hey, it's only going to be 90 and feel like 90. Come on. Wow.
I got a windbreaker in the collection. Does that work?
Yeah, it might do it. Hey, guys, and I got chastised the other day on the Bearded Wonders show. He was talking about wide receivers and who was going to be the best wide receiver. And I gave a prediction of Ryan Williams of 1,359 yards. And they acted like I was absolutely crazy there. And I based that. Rightfully so. Come on now.
1,359?
1,359 for Ryan Williams being the number 1 wide receiver for 2024.
Have you figured out what the average that is per game, Pat?
Yeah, we're going to play 15 ball games. That's less than about 80 yards a game.
We better play 16 if we want to win a national championship.
Well, I'm just saying at 15, that'd be less than about 80 yards a game. And that's easy to Hey, but you got to understand that, hey, he is a very special player. That, hey, what he did at the Under Armour All-Star game, he was down there with the best of the best. Hey, and he looked like a superstar, did he not?
So, Pat, I got a quick question for you. So what you're telling me is between today and August 31st, he's going to supersede Prentice, Law, Bernard. He still has to catch up to guys like Odom, who had a spring, to be the number one guy.
Hey, I'm just saying that when he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to produce. All those other ones are going to get catches too.
I understand that, Pat. But what I'm saying is, okay, Pat, how many catches is he going to have?
How many catches is he going to have? I'm going to give him about 40.
Okay, so let me. I'm gonna help you out.
And produce 40 catches, producing 22 yards after catch.
He's gonna average 33.98 yards per catch at 40.
Hey, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to be special, guys.
How many touchdowns with that? I mean, come on now. How many touchdowns? 28.
That's 37 touchdowns.
Hey, for 15 ball games, I'm going to give him 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, I've been saying he'd have to have 30 touchdowns to average that, have that type of average, or we only throw it to him when we're on our side of the field.
Hey, but look,
let me help you out, Pat. Let me help you out,
man.
Pat.
Yeah, they want to give me a hard time. I ain't done all the math on it, but I promise you this: that he's going to be extremely special.
Let me help you.
I will give you 450 yards for Ryan this year, and I think that would be an amazing freshman year.
And I think
yards. Oh goodness! But now, do y'all agree with me that we're going to have 4,600 yards total passing?
I've said somewhere between 45 and 5. Let me help you and Xavier out. Okay. I don't know what Ryan Williams' total yards will be. Okay. I have no idea because I don't know how they're going to work him in early in the season. Okay. I do believe that they're going to give him packages right now that he can absolutely explode in. In other words, they're going to create at what I call creating depth. At a minimum, Pat, they're going to give him certain formations when they say Crimson or when they say Roll Tide or whatever they name the package. I don't know how they name their plays. At Northridge, we had like Jaguar and Leopard and, Tiger and all that. And certain players knew, and that was their thing, right? And so here they will have certain packages. As the season goes along, he will work more and more, and he may be smart enough that he's ready to play any package. He just won't be the go-to guy. That makes sense, Pat? But there's going to be certain packages that he's the go-to guy. This is what we did with David Palmer. And when David was in the game, Pat, it was always a big play, if you remember, early on. Because that was because that was the way it was designed. It was designed because we knew, okay, get him, slowly work him in. Well, by the end of the year, who was one of our go-to guys? David was, right? He wasn't in the beginning. He was used sparingly in the beginning. I predict that regardless of how many yards Ryan Williams has, how many touchdowns he has, he will be one of the go-to guys. I predicted from game 11, 10 or 11 on. If we go SEC championship game, if we go playoffs, if we go too deep in the playoffs, if we go to the national championship game, Ryan Williams from about game 10 or 11 on, Pat, will finish every game as one of the top 1, 2, or 3 receivers. I can predict that, but I have no idea how they'll use him early in the season enough to be able to give him the total yards. Bernard could be so far ahead by the time he gets into the rotation. Bernard could come out and get 200 yards against, or 150 yards or whatever, those first few weeks and average, 100 yards a game. And Williams averaged 25. So he won't catch him, because Bernard won't go anywhere.
Right. That doesn't take more than that. That only takes 2 80-yard bombs to catch up.
But the other guy is still going to be getting yards, Pat. They're not going to stop throwing to Bernard. They're not going to stop throwing to Law. They're not. You see what I'm saying? There's too many dudes, Pat, for him to get 1359 unless the guys get hurt. Or he starts off week one. If he starts off week one as the go-to dude, then yeah, he can get there. But who's got that many yards in the history of Alabama?
Only a handful of guys.
Have gotten to 13?
Yeah.
Have we had 13? Who's got to 13? I don't know. I mean, I'm not being ugly. I'm just asking that question.
Coop did it. Smitty did it.
Who?
Smitty.
And who were the go-to guys in those scenarios? They were
Coop and Smitty.
Yeah,
and
there were no yards given.
Smitty got close to doing it twice. I think Judy might have done it once.
Yeah. So, but when you
it's only
the running backs were not
guys.
a part of the passing game. But the running backs were not a part of the passing game. They didn't take away catches. The tight ends weren't used a lot. So you have to understand.
J-Mo did it.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You have to take away guys, though. You have to take away yards from somebody in order for that to happen. Even if you go up to – Bryce had over 4,000 yards. So, I mean, it's just not enough yards in the season, Pat, to get there.
I'll tell you this, Pat. I could realistically, I could see Ryan being the fourth leading receiver, potentially the third leading receiver on this team in total yards. And that's because I think the way Law gets used is really in that Debo role. So some of his touches might be runs.
Yeah, I feel like laws are going to be end around and all that kind of stuff, sweeps, whatever. They go find some way to get the ball in Law's hands. He's too big and too good an athlete not to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Hey, guys, have a blessed day. I thought y'all could have some fun this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Have a good one. All right. Let's go ahead and get to Chuck on this side. Chuck, what you got for us? You're in on the hotline. What's up?
I'm going to be quick. Yes, good morning. I'm going to be quick. Yeah, I was just responding to what you were talking about with the Hoover situation. Yeah, coaches can't do those things that they used to do. The things that we remember coaches doing. You think back to people talking right at your school. Think about things that Bear Bryant did, or Woody Hayes did at Ohio State, or Frank Kush at Arizona State, and many others. The things that they did, even on the hardwood with Bobby Knight at Indiana. But yeah, things are quite different. That's why now, these days, if something occurs, these players now are going to hit the transfer portal. Yeah, the atmosphere has changed, and things that they've been accustomed to. And also, like I said, now you have laws out there, and now you have to be very careful.
Absolutely. And that's the thing there is it's a totally different world. That's inappropriate anytime.
You're exactly right.
But in this day and era, if something happened and there's no video, people don't get upset. I hate to say it that way, but if there's video, you can hang it up. Yeah, I mean, it's just over. So thanks, Chuck. Appreciate that, man.
All right.
And
you have a great weekend.
You too. And like you said, man, there's things that some of these other coaches did back in the days that would have gotten them fired, but we're not back in those days. We're in 2024. So unfortunately for him, wrong behavior and video to prove it. So we'll keep moving on. X, we do want to get on the other side. We want to talk about just some rapid fire around best position, best players, breakout players, etc. Some predictions for the scrimmage. We'll be back on the other side to keep it rolling right here on the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, I don't see any massive delays right now. As a matter of fact, it's still pretty quiet on this TGIF. Skyland Boulevard, just want to pinpoint here, it is a little patchy between McFarland and 69. And so you will find some taps on the brakes there. Otherwise, traffic is moving smooth in the rest of the area. Maybe a slow go here or there on Joe Malisham Parkway, right at 43. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Alabama ranks 11th in the nation in the percentage of children living in poverty. According to a study by the Children's Defense Fund, our state is 11th worst in children's socioeconomic welfare, 8th worst in children's health care ranking, and 23rd in education quality. Mississippi is 3rd in the number of children in poverty, worst in the quality of children's health care, and 26th in education quality. 7 of the worst-rated states are southern and are dominated by the Republican Party. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
On the next Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson.
Tune in Friday, 7:30. We'll talk to Coach Jack Crow. We'll go through the SEC with Coach Crow. Nobody talks football better than Jack Crow. The second hour, we'll have Coach Sonny.
And an easy buying experience.
Come shop with Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa, 3200 Skyland Boulevard East, or online at mercedesoftuscaloosa.com.
The sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Want to remind you, go get your officially licensed co-branded Alabama swag, the Legacy Collection, premium jerseys, caps, shorts, and more. Alabama Legacy Collection, co-branded with yours truly. You can click the QR code, scan it, and it'll take you right there, or you can type in athletesthread.com/collections/Martin-Houston, and it will take you to that. You're back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. Dr. Daniel Box and his staff, find them at boxeyecare.com. It's been a free-for-all Friday, X, powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. And we haven't got to all of our conversation. We talked to Olympics. We've talked to Hoover, Virgil Williams. I'm going to paraphrase what he said, and that's what I love about this show. It's the sound of Alabama sports, your show, your team, or your show, your opinion. And he disagrees that no matter what happened, he says one time, 2 times, lifetime does not matter, that he should be gone, and that he said they wouldn't have to worry about firing him. The right thing happened. He's gone, and we move on to other kids, the ones that say all that about him being a good coach and all that he was a good coach. They could just have to just deal with it. He could have got his point across in a different way. That's just my 2 cents worth as the way I'll look at it. Glad that they're going to move on. And I listen, I told you, I'm not going to have a problem either way. I just said I probably would have taken a different approach to it, but I have zero issues with it in terms of what they decided, X. He could have done something different. All of these coaches, to Curtis Moore's point, they better recognize that these kids have cameras. But this was actually their practice film that showed it. So if he did it, it's probably not the first time because he films all of his practices. So he knew that was being filmed. So he wasn't worried about that. Real quick, X, just rapid fire, man. I'll probably stick around a little bit on the other side and do a little OT this morning, but definitely want to get your thoughts. Best breakout player or players that you have for tomorrow?
Ooh, breakout players. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Ryan Williams, just simply for the fact because he's a guy that we really haven't seen, that we expect to be in the rotation on the offensive side, defensive side of the ball. I want to see Keon Keeley at this 277 and see how physical he can be.
Okay. Anybody else from that breakout standpoint? What about position grouping?
The position, I think the defensive line as a whole is just going to put on a show.
It'll be interesting if the D line shows out. X does that impact what we expect from the offensive side?
To a certain extent, but defense is always a little bit ahead of offense in the grand scheme of things. Early,
that's old school. That's old school. I don't know if that's still true because of how much practice the offense gets to do during, because you can run all your routes and everything now all summer. So quarterbacks' timing can get better in the offseason compared to what it used to. So I don't know if and then we have an offensive-minded coach. So it'll be interesting to see in that aspect. Anything else as far as from the scrimmage standpoint that you're like, okay, this is what I would be watching or this is what I can't wait to see?
How the offensive line gels as a unit is a big thing. Who's the first right tackle out? From everything I've heard, it's still been Wilkin Formby. But Elijah Pritchett still has been getting a lot of work in there as well. So that's probably one thing I want to see. And then the rotation at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, who's going to be that first group of wide receivers? Well, hey, listen, you listened to the Martin Houston Show. That was X, and he had Ryan Williams as a breakout player, scrimmage 1 for offense. Keon Keeley on defense. Defensive line, best position group. O-line, want to see if they gel. And then wide receiver rotation. Who's the first guys up? And we'll go from there. Hey, we're going to do a little OT this morning, a little abbreviated Martin Houston Show OT. It has been a free-for-all Friday powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. And this has been the Martin Houston Show powered by Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com. I want to thank you for being a part of the program. And as we get ready to get out of here, I want to encourage you to get your book, The Encouragement Factor, Give Me One More Inch. Scan the QR code or go to Amazon.com and type in The Encouragement Factor, Give Me One More Inch. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. I'm Martin Houston. We'll be back on the other side for a little OT right here talking about that scrimmage on tomorrow. If you want to get in on the conversation, jump over on Facebook.com/Martin Houston Show or hang around if you're already there.